Welcome back to Brick Talk, the LEGO Investing Podcast. This is episode 26, our first episode of the new year. And in today's episode, we're going to be discussing some new 2025 reveals, also some rumors. And a note from the editor here, if you want to skip right to the juicy Star Wars rumors, skip to 33 minutes in the video. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Starting us off here with Ninjago. Just today, February 1st, we had the new entry in the Ninjago City line unveiled. This is the Ninjago City Workshops, $250 US. It'll be available starting March 1st.
I am shocked that this is coming out. I thought they were four and done because they did the micro sets and they had spots for four of them on the back of those boxes. So I thought that was the whole series. Price to part ratio is not nearly as good as the previous ones in this line.
But I actually like that this is a smaller set and a smaller price point. LEGO was just going bigger and bigger and bigger for a while, and a smaller price point makes it more accessible to fans with a lower budget. And hey, maybe this is the first of a new series of four.
Good point. That'd be cool. So what do you think of the build?
Well, I haven't looked at this. This is pretty much a live reaction here on the podcast. It looks like they are building in the workshop a mech of some sorts here, so that ties into Ninjago fairly well. I wonder if that can be removed from the platform and you can replace it with the mech of your choosing. You have the modularity of the different levels, of course. Pretty decent interiors here. I'm seeing another small mech here. Looks like a service counter here. Maybe not too helpful customer service there. He looks a little hot-headed.
It looks like it's compatible with modular buildings. You can put this in your modular building series. That'd be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, maybe with those Technic pins, you can put this back-to-back with your Tudor corner. How would that look?
You know somebody's going to do that. There's going to be great pictures on the internet before too long. I really like it. It's kind of fun to see a city set that shows the grittier side of the city. You know, it's very mechanical, a little bit dirty, a little bit beat up. I think some of those stickers are showing some wear and tear in there. You got a big crane. Of course, you're doing an industrial mech building. Yeah, there you go. There's all kinds of, wear and tear, gritty action going on. And I think that fits well with Ninjago, obviously.
Look at here. You have this pulley with a chain. That's pretty metal for LEGO.
I will say, though, when it comes to reselling these sets, I do wonder if this one just looks a little too dirty for too many people to be wanting to pick this up for years to come.
I'm just curious what this worm gear does. Does that rotate the turntable?
Or move it forward and back?
Yeah, that would be it.
I can't tell.
No, I think that's it. And really, we should be looking at LEGO's highly detailed descriptions that they give us rather than needlessly speculating. But one important point about all the sets we're talking about today, they're just coming out in 2025. So for resale, we're not going to be buying them until 26 or 27 at the most.
But we have to know what's coming out, because if it is a very similar set or even a repeat of a previous set, then it's going to influence sets that we already own from previous years.
Real quick, since we already mentioned it, the latest modular building added to the line, the Tudor corner. This just came out. I love the color palette, the dark red roof. I forget what this architectural design is called. We should really skill up on our architecture if we're going to be looking at too many more LEGO buildings. But you have this design fading down into the brick, transitioning down into the black and green corner pub, which is just oh so charming. I gotta say, this is my favorite modular probably since the Boutique Hotel, and I might even like it better than the Boutique Hotel. The Natural History Museum, we have argued about that color way too much, and the Jazz Club is all right, but I don't like it nearly as much as I like this architecture.
Totally agree with you, and I'm not pointing this out to poke at you, but it might actually be Tudor architecture, but I don't know that for sure. Like, I don't know if Tudor is a specific type of architecture or if it's like a time period, but I know that it, refers to buildings. So that top part could fall under that. And still continuing, all of these modular buildings grow in value, or at least historically have grown in value. It kind of feels like hot potato that at some point LEGO will release so many of these that people will kind of get tired of them, but I think that's way in the future because they keep coming out with sets with this kind of quality. This will be on the shelves maybe 4 years. You hold on to them for 3 or 4 years. I don't think there's any way people don't look back and say, wow, I wish I had this set.
You have the old guarded in here, very charming pub, of course, with the corner entrance. All pubs have to have a corner entrance, right?
Yeah, design-wise, they've been doing some pretty special stuff with these off-angle elements. Same thing in the Boutique Hotel. LEGO nailed it with this one.
Another building that just launched is the LEGO Ideas Twilight, the Cullen house, $220 for just 2,000 parts. A little bit steeper price per part there. This is an Ideas set, and this is coming out about 15 years too late. I think Twilight hype peaked way back in 2008. And just for fun, I looked at Google Trends to try to understand understand the relative size of these fan bases. In blue, we have Harry Potter. In red, we have Twilight. Look at that giant Twilight peak back in 2021. Not sure what happened there. I'm sure we could look at news articles and figure that out. Mr. Editor is going to do that and put that up on the screen for you. It looks like Harry Potter hype is about double or even more what Twilight is. So I think this will appeal to that segment of hardcore Twilight fans, but I'm not sure there are enough fans to really make this a commercial success for LEGO.
I don't like the build that much. I really don't like the brown color. It just makes it feel like it is dated.
Because it's a modern design, but the color gives so much 70s vibes. I think for the core fan group, this is going to be loved, and in terms of collectability, it doesn't really go with much. It's kind of a standalone. Granted, most Ideas sets are that way, but yeah, I'm pretty down on this. I will, of course, watch the metrics over at Shelf Life, and if both of us are wrong and the market performance is looking good, I will consider this set for investment. And it's also important to note that many of last year's 2024 top performers were Ideas sets, the Globe, the Typewriter, Tales of the Space Age. So typically what we see when we're investing, like you mentioned with the Tudor corner, is good performance means the following year everybody piles into what worked last year, which then means it's oversupplied on the aftermarket, and those people are neglecting other themes that are new pockets of opportunity for that next year. So my prediction is that Ideas in 2025 will not perform as well as 24, because of that phenomenon, which we've discussed a couple times on the podcast. So the question then becomes, what theme or area of retiring sets is going to be neglected this year? That's where I want to be.
Well, I'll be collecting the data throughout the year, as you know, and I've heard many comments where people are like, oh, it's great to know what the most talked about sets are, because some of those are going to be great winners. But then it's great to know the middle of the pack sets and even some of the not so mentioned sets, because like you said, those are windows of opportunity. The Globe did not get mentioned much last year, and here we are, and it's already doubled in value.
Yeah, I will say of your videos, my favorite ones to watch are the review when you sort of grade the community, because sometimes the community is right and the most discussed sets pop off. Other times they're totally wrong. For example, Ahsoka Brickhead from 2023. I think that was the #1 set or the #2 set, not performing well at all.
And I only have like 40 of them. No, I think I've got about 25 at this point. But
I've got 2, and we already know how I feel about Brickheadz. More on that in a few minutes. The next set that is confirmed officially on LEGO, Vincent van Gogh, The Sunflowers. This is another March 1st set. $200 price. It's an art themed set, 2,600 pieces, which is actually not that great for an art set, but it's relatively flat in your dimensions, 22 by 17. Not bad. Looks like it can be hung on the wall. This is the second Vincent van Gogh set, and comparing it to the first set, The Starry Night, which we talked about many episodes ago on the podcast, I gotta say, I prefer The Starry Night, both for the color palette, the three-dimensionality, just look at that right there, and also the better price, 170 instead of 200. Now, I do think they've done a nice job with the composition, and this represents the source material very well. Important to note, there are some pearl gold parts here making up the petals on the sunflowers, so that's cool. I'm kind of mixed on this.
So I think you summed it up perfectly for my initial reaction. You know, just the quick glance comparing to Starry Night. Yep, Starry Night is a better set, more depth to it, better colors, more recognizable, right? This is the more historically referenced set. But now that I've had a little bit of time to think about it, I'm probably slightly more positive on this Sunflowers set than you are. All of the flowers are in a somewhat three-dimensional build, but not so much that it still doesn't display well on the wall. And so I think it'll be a slow burn in terms of getting people excited about this set, but I think that'll actually play well. I don't see this having a lot of stock on the secondary market, but it's a great Vincent van Gogh art piece in Lego form that I don't think could have been built any better.
That's a good point. It is a few bricks thick. We have the flowers layered on top of each other. I guess we can look at the side view there. Yeah, that shows it off a little bit better. In addition to Starry Night, we have the Mona Lisa, launched, I think, in pretty late 2024. A little bit of a controversial set. It was delayed because of quality control problems. I will say I love the frame on this. All that pearl gold. Now, the actual Mona Lisa herself, very overrated painting. I've been to see it in Paris. Total flop. Do not recommend. Don't waste your time. But it does have tremendous popularity. Like we said, just launched in 24, not retiring until, I think, 2026, but that's so far out, we don't really put a lot of weight in that.
I've also seen the painting in person, and I remember years ago I said something to it was a second cousin, I think, and I got back from the trip, you know, and I was towards the end of college, and I said, yeah, it was awesome seeing it, but what an ugly painting. And he's like, an ugly painting? It's like one of the most beautiful paintings ever. And I said, well, the painting job itself is fantastic, but the picture, you know, itself, the visual, you know, not the most appealing. I mean, it's kind of creepy and the eyes follow you around. I think that's part of the reason why it's so famous. But what I love about this Lego build is, to me, it really looks like King George dressed up as Mona Lisa for Halloween one year and they did a painting of him. That's just what it looks like to me.
I can't top that, so we gotta move on. No, that's a good point about the supply. And one set that had minuscule supply that I missed out on, the 31203 $250 Lego Art World Map, retired at the end of 23. Art set, a lot of people slept on it. $250 MSRP, now selling for $425. $550 here. Let's see, on Amazon, we're going for about the same, $530, $550. So that's interesting. eBay is nearly as high. That's not usually the case. But I don't think it's comparable because the World Map encourages you to customize it, to move things around, to create your own custom builds with all those thousands and thousands of studs. I wouldn't look at the World Map and extrapolate that onto the Mona Lisa.
This and most art sets, you build it, you hang it on the wall.
Look at this. I had no idea. There is an entire subreddit dedicated to Lego World Map. Now, it's very small, 700 members and only a few online. But look at this, the periodic table. People have made this into elevation maps of the world. Looks like somebody bought 4 sets and spent 60 hours making a ginormous wall-mounted Lego World Map. Maybe they can get the shapes of the countries a little bit better with more detail. Yeah, Japan is doing a lot better this time.
That's so cool.
Isn't this cool? Time zone map.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just endless creativity possible with the world map. Look at this. People are taking the base and stacking botanicals on there. Extremely cool.
Yep.
And speaking of Japan, the other $100 art set we have is the Great Wave, another famous, I don't believe it's a painting, I believe it's a wood block carving, the original at least, but a very famous image, we'll say, from art. A lot of 1x1 round tiles here. Some 3-dimensionality, not really a lot. I would say the Van Gogh Sunflowers are a lot better on that. $100 for 1,800 parts.
And one more, we won't look at it today, but I'm sure we'll look at it in future videos, that Milky Way galaxy art thing that has a bunch of 3-dimensionality to it. That's a wild set. I don't know what I think about that one yet.
A lot of interesting potential with art here, but all these sets we've talked about today aren't scheduled to retire until 2026. It's also early in the year. Retirement dates certainly can change, so we'll be watching that and keeping you folks informed the best we can as the year goes on. Let's look at some more new releases. The Icons Fountain Garden, $100 price. And when I saw this set, I immediately thought of this Tranquil Garden, also a Lego Icons set. I thought, what are they doing with this? Why is this Icons? I don't get it. And I said, oh, yes, they're making it a series. Look at the border here. This is, I believe, nougat color or dark nougat. And on the Tranquil Garden, we had a smooth black outline. I will say color-wise, I like this a lot better. It looks like there's some Roman or Greek ruins here. Some ruins of some kind. I'm not a column expert, but I'm sure there is one in the comments. Please tell us, where do we think this comes from in the world? Maybe Italy? Not sure. We have some tiles here. Are those Spanish tiles? Who knows? I guess I'm not as worldly of a traveler as I thought I was. But aesthetically, I love this. You have the straight green, the dark green, looks like a printed ring around the fountain, 4 of those parts. What's this water part? I've never even seen that before. And then, of course, all these prints down here. This is really, really pretty. Probably a little bit small. Looks like we can't see the dimensions. But man, I'm liking this. Available now.
I don't like this at all. And I know art is in the eye of the beholder. I don't like the colors. I don't like the red in there on that lattice vine growing with the butterfly and the orange over there. I'm not a big fan with how much white is in the set. You know, if it's a garden, I would want to see more garden and more vegetation.
There's not that much white, man.
Yeah, I feel like the fountains are just too big and too chunky for me. I get the green Wolverine claws there are the 2 main tree builds in the back, and that's a good idea, but I wish they were just a little bushier for me. But yeah, comparing to the Tranquil Garden, first time I saw this one, I thought, wow, that is a beautiful set. The water, the bridge, the off-dimension angles of the trees and the plants. But the fountain garden, it looks too engineered for me. And the hedges that are like perfectly squared off, that's never been a thing. So I'd much rather be in a more natural outdoor setting, like the woods, out camping somewhere.
Like the Twilight house.
Yeah, like the Twilight house. I saw this and personally don't like it.
That is so interesting that sometimes we agree on things like this and sometimes we don't. I looked at this and immediately I felt feelings of peace, of happiness. The color palette just Chef's kiss. It's wonderful. Looking here at the Tranquil Garden, I think what kills it for me is that the outline is black. Now, I do like that it's beveled and sort of has a slope here. Yes, I love that the building is offset. I love the bridge, the splash of color. It's very nice, but something about the black border and the first image just doesn't show it off well. Like, turn it around. I want to see the other side.
Yeah, no, it almost looks like that's the back and that over here should be the front. Now, remember, you can move all those plants around, and so you can, make the best camera-friendly angle that you want.
Just like the Tranquil Garden, splashes of color, the red blooms, the butterflies. This looks like an orange tree. You have some climbing vines here with pink. What even parts are those? Those are Friend's hair pieces? Also the prints.
Zoom in on that tree on the right there. Yeah, that tree right there. What'd they do? Like hack the top of it off? Yeah, it's a flat top. Ugh. Funny you mentioned the border. I don't like the nougat border. I think I would like this set a lot more if it was in like the dark brown, that like their darkest brown.
Yeah.
Even black I would like better, but I think
black. Oh no, black would be horrible.
I don't like it. It reminds me of vomit.
Oh, I disagree, man. The Natural History Museum reminds me of vomit.
No, that one's a nice color.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna need some commenters to jump in and settle the debate. Let's move on to some more sets. Rapid fire. Here we go. Moving from the Fountain Garden to the Trevi Fountain here. March 1st release. It's in the architecture theme. $160 for 1,880 pieces. Not too great of a price per part, even for architecture. I do like the minifigure parts here, making up the statues in the back, and this looks pretty accurate to the real thing. Back in 2014, we had the 21020 Trevi Fountain version 1. That launched mid-2014 and retired at the end of 2016. $50 retail price, and according to Brickset, goes for $180, which is some decent appreciation, but man, this has been retired 8 years. Looking over here on Amazon, this is where it gets interesting. Back in 2014, 15, and 16, it retailed for $50. Looks like it went on sale for $45, then to $40, and even as low as $35. The lowest ever was $34.10 back in 2016. What has the price done since then on Amazon? It's gone up, 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 and up. So it's interesting that this retired at the end of 2016. So when 17 begins here, we see it rise pretty much over the next year to 100. So we're already doubled 1 year. If we wait one more year to 2019, we're up to about 150. If we wait one more year to the beginning of 2020, not much growth, pretty much the same. And then if we waited one more year there into the first year of that worldwide event that happened in 2020, we're up to 300. But I do want to say, in the 4 years since the end of 2020, we've gone from 300 to pretty much just across to 300. Now, currently it sells for $345. Looks like this last Q4, it did get up and touch $400, December 15th, 2024. So that's pretty cool. But unless you were able to time that perfectly, which let's face it, nobody was able to, you've gained nothing by holding this set an additional 4 years. So in retirement, years 1 through 4, you made a lot of money holding. But holding for years 5 through 8 got you literally no additional benefit. So looking at this old Trevi Fountain, personally, I think it's really ugly, but it did do well as an investment. And moving over here to the new version, it's larger, 3 times as expensive, and way more colorful. But because the retail price is more than triple the last one, I think that leaves it way less room to grow. And back then, architecture was a risky new thing that not a lot of people invested into, and that's what made way for the prices to go up by a factor of 6. For this to go up 6 times, it would need to sell for, $960. I don't see that happening no matter how many years pass.
Yeah, that is definitely not happening. Yeah, really good analysis. The color is what makes the difference for this one. The building there, the masonry, instead of having just all white, and they had some blue, it's like the windows. This one has, I think it's flesh color, but it's the pinkish. That is a great touch. It has a few minifigures. I mean, we always like to know how many minifigures are in a set.
Is this the first architecture set with minifigures?
I don't think so. I think they've been used as statues once or twice before, but I could be wrong. Somebody let us know. But I feel about this one like I did last year's Taj Mahal that retired, which is a good set. It has a previous example that is doing really well. Hey, there you got one, and I got a couple on the ground right over there. I think this one will hit a good price before it retires. And so, yeah, I think the last one went on pretty good discount right at the end, and this one will also need to go on good discount for them to clear it out. And if that happens, then I think there is potential to double. Maybe pick it up at 100 and it goes to 200.
Or maybe pick it up at an even better price, like the Taj Mahal, for example, 120 retail. We got it on sale for 67, and I saw folks get it for 57, which is over half off. So Lego's new pricing strategy seems to be inflated MSRP and really take advantage of the people who want to get it day one. But later in life, we're seeing deeper and deeper discounts, both from retailers and from Lego themselves. So the Lego fandom, hobby, and market is always changing. You got to keep your ear to the ground. And looking at last year's Taj Mahal, that's a great example, Kevin. Yeah, I would expect this to go on sale for actually below 100 later in its shelf life. Now, up next is not a set that's released. This is just a rumor. We can see here the source of this is BrickTap. Looks like in summer 2025, we're going to have another Fast and Furious car. This will be the third Fast and Furious car after Paul Walker's Nissan Skyline and Dom's Dodge Charger, which has undergone amazing appreciation in the year since it retired. So this would be car number 3. This, of course, will be the first ever Honda Speed Champion, so that's interesting. That would certainly be new. I don't know how it's going to do. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, I'll reserve most of my judgment until I see the set. It's really going to come down to the color, how well they design it, and then you got to get all of the painted sticker details on there. My gut reaction is that it's not going to be that popular. You know, Fast and Furious is about testosterone and speed and grit and all that kind of stuff. And Suki's awesome. I love the movies. I love the car. Yes, it's critical to the movies and the storyline, but for a collectible and Lego build, I'm curious.
These early Fast and Furious movies are just so ridiculous. The acting is so bad, and I think they're way lower budget. They're pretty hilarious to watch now, very cringy, and I see a ton of memes still from these. Now, you have a very good point that it's not from a key character like Dominic Toretto. So I'm with you. I'm gonna have to wait and see the car. But first ever Honda, and could be the first ever pink one.
Talking about Dom's Charger, though, I picked up 10 for $14, and I've sold 3 of them so far pretty recently, $35 each locally. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Those were $14 at Target just briefly before they retired, and I've sold a few on Walmart for $45, $50.
Nice. Yeah. So, I wish I had a lot more, but you know, I don't go crazy. Just try to offset the cost of the hobby a little bit.
Well, what's so interesting is retiring with that Charger was the Aston Martin James Bond.
Yep.
That one hasn't done well at all. People group those two together so much. Like, of the movie cars, we have a James Bond car and we have a Fast and Furious car. And people talked about those two together, right? The Aston Martin is not doing anything. It's selling barely over MSRP.
Well, and part of the reason was because that one had almost a year of zombie stock on Amazon. True. I still think after a while it will be okay. But yeah, I was hoping to already be selling some of those too, and nope, they're just getting held.
Well, I don't have that problem since all my shit burned down. No. I'm cutting that. So another new release. We have a couple more to talk about before we get to the juiciest stuff, the Star Wars. We have the 10362 French Café, which is the first entry in the Restaurants of the World series. And looking here at the Houses of the World series, this was a group of GWPs with a $200 or $250 threshold. The values have not gone up. They are not doing well at all. Houses of the World, double thumbs down, but they were GWPs. They weren't mass market, worldwide release sets. And looking here at the Restaurants of the World, we have a higher price point, 1,100 parts, $80. You might be wondering, are these open in the back like the Houses of the World? Let's have a look. Oh, what is happening back there? What is happening? Let me get it again.
It almost looks like you can hang these things on the wall.
It looks like this was never meant for the consumption by human eyeballs. It's the first in a series. As we know, with Lego investing, series bring collectability. Now, these are just launching in March, so we don't know what the shelf life will be. I would assume they would last more than 9 months to the end of 25, so let's say 26. It's in between micro scale and minifig scale, which is a little strange here. We have the croissant outside, and I really like this part, the cup holding the little coffee. And once again, we have the black border, which I think looks good, but it looks like it takes quite a few parts to build that up. And I wonder, would this set be better without the black border, just on a gray base plate like this?
No, I kind of think the black border is necessary. Otherwise, this, what I think is pretty awful set, would then be abysmal. So DG, one thing everybody knows about me is that I don't like dioramas, not a fan of the dioramas, and this set reminds me way too much of a diorama. So for that reason, I'm out.
We have some revisionist history happening right in front of our eyes.
I mean, look, like all sets, I'll look at the data, I'll track it, but my gut reaction is a heck no on these Restaurants of the World sets.
Yeah, well, you don't like dioramas. What's that behind your left Give it a little tickle.
And I got a bunch more that are going nowhere in some boxes over there. And like I've said before, I got them for darn near 50% off and they're still not going anywhere. But
Yeah, all right. So
they'll go somewhere someday, darn it.
Yeah, into the dumpster.
Into the dumpster fire.
All right, so interesting. Not a Restaurants of the World fan.
Too soon?
It took me a minute to get it. Very good. Well, I was looking forward to talking about this new series, but it seems there's no interest from you. Kevin, do you have any more sets to show me before we get to what the people really want, which is Star Wars?
I do. Let's rapid fire a couple. First one, Icons Space System, Blacktron Renegade. Another Icons that is a callback to a classic set. What do you think, DG?
I don't like that it's asymmetrical. The Galaxy Explorer, Walmart exclusive, very cool spaceship, even if the reference to the original goes right over your head. Yeah, I would say the only thing the Blacktron Renegade has going for it is its reference to the old ship. Looking at this objectively, I do not want this. This looks awful.
Yep, it's ugly. That's kind of when I got turned off from space, because I did grow up in the classic space era, and I loved the originals with this color scheme. And then when they went to Blacktron, I think maybe we got one set, and my parents saw that I never did anything play with it, and so we got no more of those. Yellow and black, not my thing, so don't like this one. Galaxy Explorer is not performing that well. Next up is this new Hogwarts Castle flying lesson set. I don't think it's anything overly exciting. $80. Looks like a nice build. Looks pretty standard for Harry Potter. Good minifigures, but keep in mind this 21-22 version had a fair amount of buzz because of the golden minifigure. It hasn't grown much. I've got 4. I was really proud of them when I bought them. I've sold 1 at this point for a little bit of a profit. This one's coming out, so keep an eye on what you're going to do with the older version.
Same trend as the Trevi Fountain. Larger sets, higher price point, same subject material. Importantly, the first flying lesson set was a Kohl's exclusive, so limited availability. Looks like the price went up after retirement and then has come back down, and this will be the nail in the coffin for that one. Looks like 6 minifigures, and to be clear, we're looking at these brand new sets that in some cases aren't even released yet. We're pretty much just giving our personal thoughts. As far as how they perform as investments, way too early to tell. So let's keep it moving. What else do we have?
Let's look at this one right here. 10363 Leonardo da Vinci's Flying Machine. $50, 493 pieces. I did watch a review on this set recently. Cool build. Not the most smooth, if you will, display piece. The minifigure down here of Leonardo da Vinci. That's a good one.
I like the printing on the legs that align with the torso piece. That's really cool.
Lego did a nice job. They got all the right colors, right? Not a lot of weird colors in here. The little string pieces are in the tan. The action feature is really good. Look, they even made a new brown piece for the spring in there.
I was going to say, is that a spring in there? I haven't seen a Lego spring in a long time.
So there's a lot of good with this set. Way too early prediction. Flies under the radar and does pretty well.
I will say this looks like it would be a GWP. This is kind of a weird thing to see released. And under the icons, miscellaneous. It seems like Lego puts all their miscellaneous ideas under icons. I don't love this as much. I know it's historically significant, just doesn't appeal to me.
DG, another quick one I want to talk about. Dinosaur fossils, Triceratops skull. Kind of a cool set. I don't think great investments, but I wanted to point it out because very early last year we had dinosaur fossils T-Rex skull. And when this came out, there was guesses that this was part of a series, but then we went over a year without any new news. And finally, we got the second one.
What I really like about this new series is it's a Jurassic World set that's not a play set. We get very few of those.
Got to bring in one of these new botanicals. There have been a lot of them announced recently. This might be my favorite. A good $110 price point. Flower arrangement. Nice little set. Sits well, displays well.
Well, you call it a nice little set. I call it a nice large set. This is towards the top end of the botanical price range. Of course, your Bird of Paradise did well, but that's a little bit of an outlier, being a Target exclusive and the first in the theme to retire. I don't think that's a fair comp. Of course, this just came out, so we don't know the shelf life. If it's anything like the $40 to $60 botanicals, it could be out 4 years or more. Not sure the name of the flower. It might be a rose, but I really like that magenta one right in the middle with the gold pistils in the middle. Yep. Really, really beautiful. Seems a little pricey to me.
Yeah, it is. It'll be on sale though. All right, DG, we can't have a video without me talking about Brickheadz for a second. Tom and Jerry, winner to me.
Yeah, how have we not had these yet? I love Tom's eyes, and is Jerry holding a fuse?
Yep. And I think even if you look at this other image, He lit his tail on fire.
All right, well, at least it's just the
So
tail.
good.
He's not lighting a block of TNT. I like the dish pieces for the ears.
No, this is so good. And I know Lego, generally stays away from violence, but this is, slapstick cartoon, smash each other with an anvil comedy. And so the way Lego did that is just perfect. Like, that is so Lego to me.
Oh, I like this a lot. Is it $15?
Yeah, $15 because the little guy.
Okay, so it's kind of like Frodo and Gollum.
So that one I like. And then look at this adorable Dumbo for $10. This one is also a winner to me.
They nailed the ears. They're just ridiculous. You guys know I don't like Brickheadz, but the fact that these haven't been made yet is just shocking to me. And these are such likable characters that I'm tempted. I mean, if you want a Lego Dumbo or Tom and Jerry, what are you going to do?
I know, they did great. And they nailed the hat and they nailed the little arms. And I know that they're 4 feet, but when an elephant's sitting, little arms right there.
Oh, he's so cute.
And then Eeyore. I don't know if this one will be so much of a winner because, Eeyore's always sad, but
He looks
the tail
so
is
sad.
great. And you can really see the sad in the face with the way they did the little eyebrow shaping.
They nailed the character, but my question is, do you want something looking sad sitting on your shelf? I know it's part of the character.
I mean, I think with Eeyore, that's why we all love Eeyore. And then we also have Red Panda May.
Nope. This is going to be a flop. What intellectual property is this even from?
I can't remember.
Enough said.
And then one more set of Brickheads to look at. Gotta go to tformers.com. Check these out. We've got Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, and these are 2-packs, so you don't have to transform them. You get the truck version and then the character version, and same thing with Bumblebee here. But it is a really unique idea. So what are your thoughts on this one?
I'll say $20 for these. Total ripoff.
Yeah, so the price is very expensive. They're banking on the love of Transform, especially Bumblebee. That looks pretty thin overall.
Yeah, that's the core fans, the super fans will absolutely go for it. But it seems like Lego being greedy with the price to capture a little bit extra revenue off of those people is going to totally alienate the 90% of us who aren't Transformers fans. This is a case where I'm not familiar with the source material, and so I'm just going to sit it out.
Check this out, an upscaled racing driver minifigure. Similar to the regular upscaled minifigure, this set I do not like, had a bunch of buzz. I think there's still some popularity about it, but the racing guy, not bad. I like this one a little better.
A little more detail.
I don't think I'll be investing in either of them.
Yeah, I won't be touching this. This is kind of similar to that Harry Potter and Hermione we had a couple of years ago. That set didn't do well at all. I don't see either of these doing well.
Yeah. And then the last group I want to show you is some Mario Kart sets. This is a Mario Kart. So they've got the standard Kart. They've got Donkey Kong and DK Jumbo from Mario Kart. Yoshi's Bike, how adorable is that set? And then Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. These are awesome.
So it looks like the single carts are 15 or 20. Go back to the Mario. I feel a little bit torn on. It seems like these are made for kids, made for play, although I do see a code there that interacts with that Mario game. First thought, I like it. Great for Lego to get into Mario Kart. I love the idea. If it comes with an interactive game, great, but I like that this is also something you can roll around. Seems a little thin. Pretty much all Mario sets up until now have been expensive.
But look, you have little shooters and the little connector pieces so you can shoot green turtle shells and red turtle shells.
Yeah.
I think you can even load up the banana and shoot it.
I do like that, and I do like if they release more, you could see the blue shell, the bullet bill, all the power-ups, everything.
And then with the Donkey Kong, they've got the same shells and a little target. I think you can hit the target and throw the banana.
So I am liking these a lot better than the Super Mario themed play sets.
Yeah, I would never invest in any of those, but these are the first ones that I've thought to myself, like, ooh, there could be a little something here. Now, this one's 387 pieces, so Donkey Kong is big, but this one's a little more expensive. But then Yoshi's Bike, nice little set for $15. And again, you got the shooters, some cones in there. All right, those were the ones I wanted to hit quick. Now we must talk Star Wars.
There is some juicy stuff.
Can anybody say helmets?
All right, so the first new Star Wars set we need to talk about, the AT-AT driver helmet, yet another Imperial helmet. Look at those dishes prints, by the way. The nose is a lot similar to the Stormtrooper, which makes sense because in universe, this is a modified Stormtrooper pilot or driver. I love on the box, the red glow coming from behind it, just oozes evil. Here on the breathing ventilators, you have the one red, one one gray. This looks really, really sweet. Iconic scene from, in my opinion, the best Star Wars movie, Empire Strikes Back. This just looks amazing.
The eyes, man, the eyes are so good.
Yeah, that's just evil. And I like what they've done here with the mouth.
Yeah, I think those are little prints in there, right?
So what I like is $70 for 730 pieces. We've taken a step back from $80 helmets. I thought they'd all be 80 from here out.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign. Now just bring on the Bo-Katan helmet and the Kylo Ren helmet. Yeah, helmets are here to stay. I know you and I both have some that we're hoping grow in value. I think these new ones coming out will help them. Obviously, there's been a lot of helmet investing the last couple of years because of how well the first couple of waves did. So yeah, longer hold time on the new ones, but these ones coming out, it'll add to the buzz, add to the demand.
My tentative plan on the helmets for 2025 is if the buzz is just too high and everyone piles in, I will use caution. But until I see examples that disprove our working theory that they perform amazingly as investments, I'm in on the helmets. And hey, if people are second guessing themselves and saying, oh, it's too crowded, it's been a winter for too long, I'm still in. That's going to make space for me.
Yep, me too.
Looking over at the Luke Skywalker Red 5, I guess this has been retired a full year. That is crazy to say. This was $70. Brickset has it going for $63. But looking here on Walmart, it's going for $110. On eBay, it's a little bit lower, but I have been selling these by the dozen for $100, $105, or $110 a piece. I do sell on Walmart now.
Nice. Yeah, remember that one had some zombie stock too.
This one did have some zombie stock.
Yeah, yep. So it got a late start.
So we may have jumped the gun talking about, is Lego done making helmets? Because now it seems that a new one is out, and we have a rumored Jango Fett helmet coming in 2025. And if there's new helmets coming out in 25, you'd have to think those would stay at least until 26, probably till 27. So maybe we're not near done with helmets.
I love how we hear rumors on, I think it was Kylo Ren first and then Bo-Katan. And here we are with the driver helmet and now a Jango Fett helmet that sounds pretty solid. So yeah, we could get 4 more, we could get 8 more before all this is done. Who knows? There's still tons of great characters out there that we would love to get helmets in.
I would love to see a recolor of the Scout Trooper to a Clone Wars Kashyyyk Trooper. That would be easy for Lego, kind of a cheap, just a recolor. Also a General Grievous, and you could of course have Grievous tax on that. They could charge 100 for Grievous. Might be kind of hard to engineer and make it look good, but that would be really sweet.
No, they can make that happen.
So yeah, everything about this AT-AT driver is positive, from the box, the design, the price point, those printed dishes. I'm loving it. I am sure we'll be talking about this for years to come. Another question I have is, will this release drive increased demand to the just retired UCS AT-AT, which, by the way, has popped back into stock at Amazon for $8.50. Full retail price. You see there, purchased January 2025. That's right. I did finally pick one up. I did pay full price. Will this have a long zombie stock? We don't know. But I do want to point out 500 plus bought in the last month at regular retail price. If we multiply that out, that's $420,000 of buying power put just toward this one set on Amazon in the last month. That's pretty crazy. So once this releases March 1st, do you think this will drive demand to that UCS AT-AT?
I think, yeah. You know, and whether it was this or something else, I just think the amount of great Star Wars Lego sets that are coming out do help all the other ones that have already retired, because there's lots of linkages. You know, there's a lot of related. Yeah, I think this definitely helps it. Can't hurt.
So now we're moving from officially revealed sets into rumor land. We're looking at the Lego Leak Reddit here. Coming from Lego Minecraft Goat, here's a rumor of a UT-AT, $150 price point, launched in August, 813 parts. Terrible price per parts. You gotta assume maybe like the AT-OT, this will come with 4 or 6 or 8 clone troopers to stock it up. Maybe some named characters and some more desirable minifigures too. So my first thought, wow, Clone Wars tax is getting to be a little bit crazy. The rumor is, again, not confirmed, and everything we're talking about from here on out may turn into dust and become nothing, like my house. But it looks here that it's going to include at least 2 of the purpley red Galactic Marines, recolored snowtroopers. Kevin, what do you think?
Well, so I'm not even going to comment on the price yet, because that seems crazy. It also seems like it absolutely could happen, so who knows? But outside of that, getting a UT-AT, I'm so excited about that. If Lego does it right, you know, what you have to pay to get it, will the value be there? I don't know. But if they do it right, it's going to be an awesome set.
I just know this vehicle shows up for one shot in Revenge of the Sith, and it gets blown sky high.
Yeah, but Star Wars has all the unique vehicles, and then, of course, the troopers and characters that go with it. I like it when Lego does these more obscure vehicles.
I do too, and it has all the Star Wars fans going, oh, look at that. We need that. They haven't made that yet?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still probably 100 ships out there they could make that, you know, were on screen for 10 seconds.
Yeah. Giant universe, great universe, and endless potential for playsets. And another playset that we haven't had for over 20 years is a Jango Fett's Slave One. I'm sure they'll call it Jango Fett's Starship. Again, just a rumor, far from confirmed. At this point, I'm giving this maybe a 30 to 50% chance likelihood, just pulling those numbers out of thin air. According to this leak, $70 retail price, 700 parts, and it'll come with Jango, Boba, and a Kaminoan. I'm hyped because this is a ship that we haven't gotten in any form for over 20 years.
I'm hyped too. I mean, it's pretty rare that I'm going to say no to a Star Wars ship with minifigures. I will comment price on this one. That might be a little too good to be true. 707 pieces and 3 minifigures. Sounds questionable.
Yeah, I would expect it maybe a little larger than the Boba Fett Starship, $50 from 2023 retired class. Yep. We'll have to wait and see, like a lot of stuff. Another rumor, looks like in 2025 we may get for the May UCS release a UCS Jango Fett Slave One, which has never been done. And it's been 8 or 9 years since the UCS Boba Fett's Slave One. So this would be new. Once again, everything here is subject to change, but nearly 3,000 parts for $300, that's really good price per piece for a UCS set. According to this, it'll include highly detailed Jango Fett with arm and leg printing and a young Boba Fett. I would not buy this for the minifigures because much like Captain Rex, maybe they'll do a Jango Fett's microfighter with the same minifigure. Not falling for that one again, Lego.
So what are the odds that we get a play-scale Jango Fett's Slave One and a UCS Jango Fett's Slave One in the same year? Probably pretty low, I would think.
I would think so too, but I will say if this comes out, you can expect the microfighter coming in 26.
Yeah. But yeah, that'd be cool if it did come out.
I was thinking about all these Attack of the Clones, everything Jango Fett, it seems, in 2025, and I don't get it because Attack of the Clones came out in 2002. So it's not an anniversary, not an even one anyway. It's 23 years. Oh. I don't think he's showing up in any new media, so I really don't understand why after 20 years of neglecting Jango Fett, Lego is throwing him everywhere.
Ooh, I like this. I like this rumor. I'm hopeful. Kylo Ren's Midi-Scale would be awesome. More Midi-Scale ships. Big fan.
Yeah, I didn't like the gray, wrong color first version of this set. Of course, I know Lego, that wasn't really their fault. They had limited materials to work with. The second version of the ship was very cool. I almost invested in it, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't because I would have been paying full price, and from that price, the black 2020, I think it is, or 21, Kylo Ren's command shuttle hasn't done great as an investment. But it's a very cool ship, and in Midi-Scale, I'm reserving judgment till I see it. Hopefully we get this.
Yep. I actually got one of the black play scales, but I got it for build. That was a fun build.
I would say of sequel ships, that's definitely the sweetest one. All right, so getting into Too Good to Be True land, it's rumored we may have 75432, the V19 Torrent, $60. I think that's super ambitious. I would not expect this for less than $80. And you know what tells me I think this is too good to be true? Look at this picture here. We have our Coruscant Guard gunship presently available, the Ahsoka's Starfighter recently launched, the ARC 170 just came out, and they're telling me we're gonna get a V19 to go with it. That is just too good to be true. What is it, 2008, 2009 again? I don't think so. August 2025? Question mark? Yeah, I give this a 5 to 10% likelihood of happening at this point.
Yeah, it's fun to have something to look forward to, even if it's a mirage.
Likely a mirage, folks, so I wouldn't get my hopes up at this point. But even if just one of these rumors turns out to leak and be a real set, I will be happy because all of these look amazing.
Yeah.
Finishing up with our last rumor coming straight out of Fantasyland, 75435, a Clone Wars MTT. I believe this would be a dark blue and light gray color scheme, not the brown scheme seen in Phantom Menace. Allegedly, it will release August 1st, include Commander Bly, Ayla Sakura, and around 10 B1 droids. That's not enough. We need 16. 150 retail price, too good to be true. I would pay it. To come with those figures, even if it's small, like the 2014 MTT, I would pay it. I just don't think this is going to happen. They've only made 3 MTTs. 2000, 2007, and then I think 2014 or 15. By that 7-year cycle, we'd have been due in 2021. So now it's been over 10 years since we had an MTT.
Nice job on all that. Our resident Star Wars encyclopedia.
Only for the cool sets.
Yeah, all the Clone Wars stuff. You know that stuff inside and out.
Yeah, man, that's my childhood. That's right in my strike zone.
Well, like you said, if one of these rumors, maybe 2 of them, if they come true, I think we'd be doing pretty well because there's some pretty good rumors out there.
If you could pick one, which one would you most like to see?
Remind me, what were all the choices again?
UCS Jango Slave, Play Scale Jango Slave, Kylo Ren Midi-Scale, Clone Wars MTT, UTAT with Galactic
UTAT,
Marines.
that's the one.
Yeah,
That's the
so
one I picked.
I want
UTAT.
I want that one too, because when I was a kid, I took my snowtroopers from the battle pack and colored them up with magenta Sharpie. This is before the days of custom minifigures and pad printing and all this stuff. No, Sharpie.
Yeah.
And I really wanted those Galactic Marines as a child 15 years ago. So looks like we may be getting them. And if we do, I'll be a very happy Star Wars nerd. So what set are you most excited about, and which do you think will come to fruition? Time is usually not our friend on these because we're speculating, and as time goes on, a lot of the information gets proven false. But leave a comment down below. Which are you most interested in?
That's going to do it for this episode of Brick Talk number 26. DG, a lot of fun new sets. Like we were saying earlier, looks like 2025 is going to be great in the LEGO world. There'll still be some bombs and busts out there, but a lot of fun stuff that we're excited about.
So we'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you're interested in leveling up your LEGO investing with BrickBucks Ignite, we do offer a 1-month free trial. In the description below, you can check that out if you're interested. Thank you very much for all the support, all the kind comments, and all the thought-provoking discussion going on. I think personally, we have one of the best comment sections on all of YouTube, so we really appreciate you guys. Year's off to a little bit of a rough start, but as we talked about today, lots of good things to look forward to.
And DG, don't forget, we've got to do a 2025 Star Wars tier list here before too long. We get to debate and argue and go over all those, and yeah, that's fun. That's fun. So we'll be doing a couple of tier list videos. We've got all kinds of great ideas and fun topics for 2025.
Yeah, we've already brainstormed quite a few videos. It's just a matter of finding the time to make them, and later in the year, as that retirement list solidifies, we will be sharing more about our approach to investing in 2025, so stay tuned.
And as always, everyone, thanks a lot for watching. We really appreciate it. And as you can tell, DG and I love recording these videos together. This is Brick Talk 26, and we'll be getting on to the next one very soon. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.